Alright, so I bet you're asking, Scotty, how you're doing Short Circuit 2 next, and you already talked about you did 28 weeks later. I did. This is crooked. I did. I reviewed and recorded. I recorded the review. Okay, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up. Alright. Got my Asian tea here. Okay. So, I did. I did this review already. I recorded it. I uploaded it, and it was processing like all night. Woke up this morning, and my last Exorcism Part 2 review went up just fine. This one says upload failed. And I think the reason why is because I didn't realize it was still processing. Alright, I thought it was done. I deleted all the other videos I had on my phone, except for the last Exorcism Part 2. So, yeah. I think that was the problem. So I'm gonna redo it here at 8 o'clock in the morning. I haven't had breakfast yet. I saw that, I'm like, what? And I came here, sit down, living room here, looking at it, and I'm just like, boy, it failed. And I'm like, I wonder if it's because I deleted the video before it was actually done. But I thought because it was in processing, it didn't matter. I guess that. So now I gotta do this off the top of my head because I didn't watch this movie yesterday. So 28 Weeks Later is a sequel to 28 Days Later. Yeah, we know that, dumbass. Shush. Shush, please. Yes, it is the sequel to 28 Days Later, and it starts. So we have Robert Carlyle replacing. I'm not awake, as you can. Robert Carlyle replaces Cillian Murphy. I thought it was the lead, but like I said in the original review for this, I gotta stop saying it because you won't know what I'm talking about. But it kind of subverts that. Well, you think Robert Carlyle is going to be your lead character, but then in the middle of the movie it just changes, and really we're following the kids, which, yeah, you're kind of. My nose is running. I gotta go catch it, right? You're kind of following the kids before that, but this is where you follow the kids. So, yeah, you're following the kids, a military doctor and a military soldier. They're played by Rose Byrne, military doctor, and Jeremy Renner, Doyle, the military Scarlett and Doyle, which I didn't think about it till after, but like Jeremy Renner running around with a character named Scarlett. You and I remember Budapest very differently. Marvel joke. This is before that. This is 2007. So, I'm sorry. I can't keep looking at that contorted picture of last Exorcist Part 2. So it starts out, we started in the shack, and you get Robert Carlyle, and he's playing Don. Don and his wife are there, and they see a small boy pounding to get into their shack. And this is right at the onset of this outbreak. This is during the initial outbreak in London. And so they let him in, hesitantly by the wife, but then a bunch of infected come in, the rage infected come in, and like a total pussy, Don ends up leaving his wife behind, just taking off. And, yeah. And then it's 28 weeks later, and his kids, who were not at the house at the time, I don't know where they were, so I'm assuming this was like right at the start of this whole thing. But his kids played one of them, the daughter, the oldest child, the daughter played by Imogen Poots. Poots. Her full name is Imogen Gay Poots. I feel so sorry for her. Were her parents drunk? I don't know. It's a weird name. Okay? I'm just saying. Anyway. So yeah. They go to see their dad. They've quarantined everyone who is not infected onto the Isle of Dogs. Which I don't know if it's a real island or if it's just a name. But you know. Movie. It's a real place, but you know. So. The kids ask what happened to their mom, and he says, "Well, I tried to save her, but I wasn't able to, and I got away." And you know, the daughter, I think, thinks something's fishy. Like they said that he saw the infected kill her. So the kids decide to sneak into jolly old London to go back to the old house because they were talking about moving to a new house, you know. And they go back to the old house where they find their mother is just fine. Although they do this thing where she hugs the boy and she's like scratching him, and you're supposed to think that, oh no, she's infected and she's gonna kill him. But if she was infected, don't you think she would try to kill them right away anyway? Or maybe it's a slow infection. I don't know. But yeah, and then the military comes and they quarantine the kids to make sure they're not infected, and then they quarantine their mom because they're not sure if she's infected or not. Turns out she is infected because, like a fucking dumbass, the dad goes in and he apologizes for leaving her, and then he kisses her, and he immediately becomes rage infected and starts going nuts. And I think the mom dies. I don't know. But Scarlet saves the kids. And, like, we see that Doyle likes watching people through his scope on his rifle. And so he sees this and he decides to help them. And he ends up finding them and helping them, the survivors. And he contacts this helicopter driver, trying to think 8 o'clock in the morning when he just woke up. It's hard to do. Waking up is hard to do. I know it's breaking up, but still. So they contacts this helicopter pilot, his name I don't remember, played by Harold Perrineau. Because I'd trust Michael, wouldn't you? Anyway, so yeah, he says, you know, we need the helicopter to get out of here. And he's like, I'm gonna be at this place. You gotta get there fast. And so they get there fighting off some infected. But when they get there, the guy said he can't land because the infected will swarm, which is smart. But he can't take. He can only take. He said he'll only take Doyle, but not the kids or Scarlet. Because if they land on the base, the others are going to get shot right away. Because at this point, the military is like, okay, we could contain it. We're just going to bomb the shit out of it. And so they like Scarlet and the kids. Well, Scarlet's a military doctor. She should be okay, right? I don't know. But he takes off and he says, okay, go to Wembley Stadium and I can land and pick you up. But just you. Douchebag. And so on the way to Wembley Stadium, which Wembley Stadium did Warm Bodies take from this movie? I didn't think of that the last time I did it. The Warm Bodies take from this movie is that the climax is in the stadium. I don't know if it's Wembley Stadium, it's in a stadium. Could be. Yes. But anyway, so Doyle ends up sacrificing himself because now they got flamethrowers just burning people. He's a military personnel burdened with flamethrowers, and so he sacrifices himself to the flamethrower to save Scarlet and the kids. And then by the time they get to Wembley, Scarlet has died somehow. I still can't remember how she dies, but she dies. Because at this point, this is what I was like, how much of this movie is left? Because I had to make dinner. I had a live stream to get to. And I was just like, when does this end? Because I started watching it at 5 p.m. yesterday, right? And last night. And I'm like, okay, so it's going to be about 6:40. It gets done. Well, it was about that time, but I did like 6:43, so I think it was like 3 minutes late to watching it. Yeah, but it did cut it very close. I'm like, how long is it? I thought it was already done, but I don't think it had anything to do with the content. I just wanted to get the movie done so I can review it and get on my merry way with doing my dinner and the live stream I had going on. The live stream went great, by the way. But yeah. So the kids get to Wembley Stadium, and he's hesitant at first. So I should mention, I had to mention this earlier, but the mom had the virus in her, but she was asymptomatic. That's why when Don kissed her, he immediately raged out. So she had the virus in her, but she was asymptomatic, and so that's why Scarlet was trying to save the kids, because one of them might have the blood cells that could create a cure. And then it turns out it is the son, Andrew, that has he's also asymptomatic. So so the kids get to Wembley Stadium, and he's hesitant at first, but he agrees to take them up. And then we see like landscapes and stuff, zombies, and then it ends with showing that the zombies have made it to continental Europe, France, somehow. I mean, the British Isles are literally islands, so I don't know, but somehow maybe they could do like Land of the Dead and walk under the water to get there. Maybe. I mean, these aren't technically zombies, but this was fine. I'll give it a middle of the road. It was fine. Did I give it a middle of the road before? Maybe it was pretty good. I'll give it a pretty good. I think it's on par with the first one. I don't think it's better than anything. I think it's on par with the first one. The cinematography is way better. Don't look like somebody pissed all over the negative like the first one. And it was also really grainy in the first one. So the cinematography, right away, you got a good start when you see, this looks better. Better than someone pissing on a negative. It looks, although that did give the sense of, I don't know, like a darker tone, I guess. And then where the first one was like a group of survivors becoming a family, this one is, kids trying to survive this, rage virus infection apocalypse thing. So yeah. So what are your thoughts on 28 weeks later? Hopefully this uploads right. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'm doing Sword Circuit 2 next. I already picked it out. Excuse me. See ya.